Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Friday to each and every one of y'all. It is the homie, Mainman Mademan in the building. Hey, man, y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. Yes, sir. Once again, it's on, man. Once again, a honor and a pleasure. I repeat, a honor and a pleasure. Rocking out with the boxing fam and the boxing fans. It's freaking Friday, fight fans. It's freaking Friday. You know what that means. Our time now, man. Got to come on early on the Friday AM, fight fans. You know what I'm saying? Mainman Mademan is here, unfortunately, due to Mainman's crazy ass schedule. You know what I mean? I was unable to do We Talking Boxing Live last night. I didn't get into very, very late last night, fight fans, but I knew I had to wake up this morning with a mission. You know what I'm saying? I had to wake up this morning with a mission, and that mission is to bring the real spill to the fam. So once again, fam, my apologies on yesterday, but shit, man, you know what I mean? Hey, that's just the way it goes sometimes, you know what I'm saying? That's just the way it goes. So we gonna talk some real spill boxing, man. It's been a few days since I've been up on this jump, man, so hopefully some real news has came around lately, because boxing has been moving a little slow for my liking. The second half of this year has not been nearly as exciting as the first half of this year. And so we definitely need more fights to start to be announced. Hold on one second. Let me make sure my sound is cracking. Yeah. We good to go, man. Good to go. So, yeah, man, we can definitely use an infusion of adrenaline into the sport of boxing. Something a little bit more interesting than, say, Crawford and Spence. I mean, it's being played 24/7, wall to wall, all day, all night. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. You know what I mean? That's just where the excitement is. You can't help that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like, damn, bro. Like, can boxing give us something else? I mean, how many times can we break the fight down and talk about the past and the resumes, and how many times, fight fans? You know what I'm saying? Once this thing get announced, though, expect a Mainman marathon on this shit. You know what I'm saying? A Mainman marathon. So what's going on? Oh, today, fight fans, we got a new episode of the Red Corner dropping on out later on today. So definitely keep your third eye open for a brand new episode of the Red Corner. In this next episode, from what I understand, Red and Smitty, man, they getting together, man, and they formulating a plan. They starting to realize that they're at the point in their life where they got to do more. You know what I'm saying? They're getting a little older. You can't keep doing the same hustles. Yeah, it's been working for you. Yeah, it's been getting you through. Yeah, you're your own boss. But sometimes it's time to kick it into the next level of life. And that's what my two characters are going to be sitting at the table deciding what they're going to do for their next venture in their life. And it look like that they're going to be going into the boxing game. You know what I'm saying? So check it on out, fight fans, and see how the whole plan comes together on the next episode of the Red Corner Boxing Animated Series, brought to you by yours truly, Mainman Mademan. I want to give a thank you to everyone that's been purchasing the coffee mugs off the community page. For those who are wondering, we had a few more purchases. I want to say thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? And for those who are wondering how you can cop one of them shits, go on to the community page, check it on out, you know what I mean? And you'll see the link sitting on over there. All the proceeds go into support of the channel. So I want to say thank y'all for that. You know what I mean? So without any further ado, let's get to rolling through some of these boxing topics. I see some of y'all, most of y'all must be at work this morning. It's a good Friday. Y'all can't even talk back to me. You know what I'm saying? It's all love, though. Main man gonna still do what he got to do. You feel me? So let's roll through these boxing topics and let's see what's going on around the sport of boxing, or what does Main Man have on the palette. You know what I'm saying? Now, I guess we can start off with a little Bud Crawford talk, right? Because we got Steven Espinoza out here putting out some things on his social media once again about this fight. And look like Steven Espinoza is shooting down more rumors. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go there real quick. Let's start off right there. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I got everything lined up. Where's my guy? Oh, there you go. All right. Boom. Let's put up old Steven right here on the screen, shall we? Now, Steven Espinoza, head of Showtime Sports. Y'all know basically the money man right now when it comes down to Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence Jr. We all know that the fight is looking to aim to land on possibly Showtime. At least that's what we've been seeing thus far. I'm not super happy with that decision. I think a fight of this magnitude needs to be bidded on. I think a fight of this magnitude needs to be shopped around. I don't think you're supposed to land it on one strip, you know what I mean? And so when you do that, you operate within limits. You operate within confinements, you know what I mean? Oh, well, if the network ain't gonna pay this, then we can't do that. Or if they ain't gonna do this, then we can't do that type shit, you know what I'm saying? I prefer the shopping around method. You know, that's something I always give a credit to Eddie Hearn. And what Eddie Hearn does so marvelously is that he knows how to shop around his product. When he brought Anthony Joshua over here to America and put him on Showtime, he did not keep him there. He kept him there for about 6 fights. And then after that, he shopped him over there to Sky Sports, and now he's shopping him around over there to DAZN. So it's like anyone that Anthony Joshua fights, at the end of the day, you know, believe it or not, and he's filling up these arenas, Eddie Hearn gonna make you pay. It ain't gonna be no just you locking him in. No, the money got to be there, and if you want an attraction of this magnitude, then guess what? You're gonna have to pay. It's called shopping them around. There was one time where Anthony Joshua fights, and even to this day, even with this Usyk fight, right? I mean, you don't know where it's going to land at. You know what I mean? Like, we heard that Anthony Joshua signed a deal with DAZN, but yet and still, on the flip side, his fight with Oleksandr Usyk and the TV rights, well, they belong to the Saudis, and the Saudis can determine what network that fight goes on. That's what happened. When they brought that fight, they also brought the rights to air that fight, and they can shop those rights around to anyone that they like. That's how Spence and Crawford should be moving. That's how it should be moving. But unfortunately, the way what we're doing, the way that they're doing things is they're rocking out with Showtime. Now, I caught some reports that stated that the relationship between Fox and PBC, well, we know, it's not quite on the up and up right now, even though, from what I understand, Fox is putting on Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz, which baffles the hell out of me. Fox can get involved into that fight, but ain't nobody talking about them being involved in Spence and Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So I think that they are the bigger network. They got the most cash. They are actually a sporting network known for sports here in the country, as opposed to Showtime, which is a subscription-based app that's just known for, like, TV shows and shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is the way that they're doing business. From what I understand from the reporting, though, the relationship between Fox and PBC is not really that up and up, because the business model is a bit different between Fox and PBC and, say, Showtime and PBC. From what I understand per the reporting, they're saying that when PBC works with Fox, well, PBC has to front all of the production costs. And that's something that they're not too happy about, as opposed with Showtime, they front all the production costs. So maybe that way of doing business, and there's rumors of PBC maybe not being on the up and up in cash, well, maybe the Fox way of doing business is not productive enough for them. And it's very unfortunate, fight fans. But however, we got Steven Espinoza out here once again, and he's coming out and he's speaking about rumors. So let's see what Steven Espinoza, I'll put it right here on your screen. This is Steven Espinoza's Twitter, per his Twitter right here, fight fans. Y'all may have already caught this kind going around right here. And Steven Espinoza has put out there, as I've repeatedly said, it will not be productive to publicly discuss the details of certain negotiations while they are ongoing. Having said that, some of these rumors are comical, you know what I mean? And I'm going to stay right there. Now, first off, man, look, I am an advocate, fight fans, for this fight not to be negotiated in the public. Because as you can already see, and I understand the story that he's talking about, and we about to go there, but as you can already see, when even a half of a rumor gets let out, what happens? Narratives get to flying fast. It doesn't take long, fight fans, especially with this fight. It doesn't take long for narratives to start to fly. Everyone wants to be first. Oh, I'm the inside guy. I'm the inside man. I have the inside information. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm disseminating the information, there's going to be a bit of a spin put on this shit. And that's why everyone is such in a rush. And it's to the point where people's sources are now being questioned, and it's very unfortunate for the real ones out there, because those of y'all who put out factual information, who do know the facts, who do have a real guy on the inside, well, this just makes you look bad whenever folks come out spitting out inaccurate information, and it just makes all of the YouTubers look like they don't know what the hell they talking about. That's one of the bad, I guess, sides of the whole clicky beta people and shit. You know, it's like, dog, like, y'all make people look bad and shit. Now, like, they painting everybody with the same broad brush like we all a bunch of dumbasses. And that ain't even the case, you know what I'm saying? But that's why it's good that this thing doesn't get put out in the public, because everyone is waiting on a narrative. Everyone is waiting on the spin. Everyone wants to get their hands on the information to spin the shit for their guy or the other guy. So I am very much a proponent of this fight not being negotiated in the public. YouTube has become a funhouse mirror of sorts. You know what I'm saying? A funhouse mirror. And so we don't need this kind of information out here. Just let us know when the fight is ready to go. That's all we've ever cared about as boxing fans. Nobody never got us all wrapped up in this shit. Half of y'all don't even know what the hell y'all listening to. Half of us don't even know how this shit really gets done for real. You hear the word split and you thinking, oh my goodness, yeah, he's taking all it. No, it's not like that. There's a lot of moving parts with this mega fight. Let it play out. But the rumors are constantly circulating. This is all the signs of a mega fight fans. This is why I've started calling it a mega fight. We're to the point where people are just so anxious and so pressed that, yo, man, they just making up shit, throwing anything to the wall, seeing with sticks, taking other people's information, revamping it and claiming it as theirs. It's a lot of sick stuff that's going around about this fight. And it does not need to be negotiated in the public. It's very, very unfortunate, fight fans. Well, let's keep pushing this. Now, I don't know what rumors exactly that Steven Espinoza, there's so many of them out here. Damn, man. Like, I know a lot of y'all are like mixed all the hell up and stuff, man. And y'all don't know what's right, what's wrong, what's up, what's down. I mean, there's so many of them out there. I'm not sure exactly what Steven Espinoza is talking about. Could he be talking about the one with Dan Rayfield, just came out a couple of days, and stating that this fight that happens on either November the 12th or either November the 19th? Could he be talking about that rumor? Whenever they came out talking about dates in the past, fight fans, well, it was Floyd and his side that came out ASAP when Coppinger was running around talking about September, October, and they shut that down. They never said that the fight wasn't happening. They never said that the fight wasn't being worked out. They just said that those dates were false. Now, we just had this happen with Dan Rayfield. So is he talking about that as a rumor? Now, what I've told y'all, and I've been very transparent from here on this channel for those who rock with the homie, I've already told you everything that I know. And I've been told either November or next year. They had to get through the Kinahan situation. They had to figure out Bud's future. We went through all of this. They had to settle Keith Thurman, which technically has not been settled at this moment. But all of these things had to get done. All of these boxes had to get checked for us to get to the moment when they can offer Terrence Crawford offer. Also, you got to understand that they had to gain leverage back over Terrence Crawford. All of these things had to happen. They had to line up Jerron Boots Ennis. They had to assure his business, which you've seen a new deal get done for Jerron Boots Ennis, which means that PBC has a form of control now over Boots. They had to make sure that Keith Thurman was in position, which you've seen him now recently been brought through the rankings and now been put in position. So, and also they had to make sure that Jamil Charlo's next fight was tied up as well, because there was some back and forth whether or not he would face Tim Tszyu or not, or was he going to go to Sebastian Fundora. Well, they had to lock up Jamil Charlo just in case Terrence Crawford decided to get sneaky and move up and try to challenge Charlo, forcing Charlo to drop a belt. All of these things had to get done, fight fans. See, now what you got to understand is now that Charlo got the Tszyu fight, that because that was his WBO mandatory, and that's the fight that he wanted because it's a big name fight and it's a lot of money in that fight, especially for PBC. They had to secure that shit. They locked that fight down. Now, if Bud wants to move up and challenge Charlo, Charlo can vacate the belt. Easy work. At this point, he would have been undisputed, and got the Tszyu fight. He can drop a belt and turn around and face Sebastian Fundora. All of these things had to be in place, fight fans, because Terrence Crawford was walking around speaking about his leverage, speaking about the things that he could and would do, speaking about the money that he's been paid. All of these things, PBC was listening. And they had to make sure that, yo, before we sit down and offer this cat, because this cat do got a lot going for him, stuff that we don't want to honor, we got to make sure that everything is lined up before he has nowhere to go. He has to be able to look at our offer and say, well, I can't find nothing better. So that's what I was told from the early days. So, I mean, like Steven Espinoza is saying that, like I said, rumors galore. I don't know if he's talking about Dan Rayfield. Now, there's a new rumor that's just sprouted out from what I understand, right? Thanks to the fam that shot it to my inbox. Much love to y'all. And from what I understand, there's talk out here now about Terrence Crawford's deal and what he's been offered. A certain amount of fights for a certain amount of money. And I will say, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm with Steven Espinoza on this. The deal sounds, from what's being rumored out here, sounds false, fake, and phony. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do know the source that it came from, and I do got a lot of respect for that particular source. So I will kind of take it easy if I can. You know what I'm saying? But I will say I don't believe it. You know what I mean? And I'll say this. And I'll just kind of play with this, I guess, for the sake of discussing and talking about it. I'll say if it is true, which I don't believe it to be true by far, but if it was true, then I would think that there's some details that had gotten left out of that situation because it doesn't make any sort of sense. Now, to the untrained eye and to the untrained ear, it would make sense to say, well, because from what I understand, the breakdown of it was a $9 million offer for Terrence Crawford for the Spence fight, and then $3 million a piece for the following 2 fights, making it a 3-fight deal, 9, 10, 11, 12, like $14 or $15 million, right? Well, what if Terrence Crawford defeats Errol Spence Jr. and Errol Spence Jr. wants to enact his rematch clause? You're telling me that they will be paying $3 million to Terrence Crawford for Errol Spence Jr. rematch? I'd say the answer is no. I'd say the answer is hell no, especially if Terrence Crawford wins. You telling me you're going to offer him less money as the winner to go into a rematch? Fuck no. If the 3-fight deal is locked into a certain number, then how the hell is Crawford going to get a rematch if Errol Spence enacts a rematch? Where's the money? Maybe the details were just left out. Maybe this is just the guaranteed money. Now, like I said, if this was the deal on his own face, it's not the worst thing in the world, fight fans. I mean, I know a lot of Crawford fans may not want to hear that, but it ain't the worst thing. $9 million guaranteed, plus maybe some pay-per-view back-end money, $3 million apiece for the other guys over at PBC with some pay-per-view back-end money. Well, I'm not going to sit here and say it's the worst thing in the world. I don't know how Terrence Crawford would feel about that. Everybody want to run, oh, it's this, it's that. No, that $9 million is a damn good number if stood true. But I don't believe it. And most importantly, anyone with real sources, this type of information is under NDA, man. No one ain't talking about this shit, bruh. No one ain't talking about this shit. And even in an anonymous, what's the word? Anonymous. And even in an anonymous way. You know what I mean? They're not speaking about this. You may get outlining, but these dudes are under NDAs, man. They can't talk but so much. I don't believe it. A lot of shit is flying out here trying to make Terrence Crawford look a certain kind of way, fight fans. I don't believe it. I'll wait for Crawford. I'll wait for Crawford and Earl. I don't believe any of y'all. None of you. And to those who went out and reported on this, well, it goes to show your sources. Your sources are other YouTubers. The fuck, man? And this is why this fight shouldn't be negotiated in the public. Ain't nobody got sources for real. All this shit is bull crap. Everybody hijacking each other's information. That's what the hell is going on. I don't believe it. But salute to the homie that dropped this. And I know he's a stand-up individual. But I will say I just can't believe it. And maybe it is true, but I just don't believe it. I think that the details are missing. And most importantly, Steven Espinoza is calling this a rumor. I'm going to stand right there. Because everybody thus far has been wrong as sin. And just throwing shit to the wall and seeing what sticks. Folks talking about one thing one day will do a 360 the next. I don't want to hear none of this shit. Just let me know when the fight is done. You dig what I'm saying? I'm glad that they're still engaging. That's all we need to know, fight fans. They're still engaging. No one has walked away from the table. Both men are talking extremely positive. That's all we need to know. Your favorite fighter, right? And Earl Spence Jr. has not walked away. Our favorite fighter, in Terrence Crawford, has not walked away. That's all that matters. Pushing and pulling is going to get done. Hell, even the guy who let this out, right? He stated that if you listen to him, he'll tell you, well, in the beginning, the offer was one thing, and then this was another offer. Who knows if there's another or more offers going to come afterwards? We don't know what the final product is going to look like. Nobody does. It's a back and forth. It's a back and forth. If y'all come out and y'all don't like this number, because according to looking at the comments of the fans, y'all are all saying, well, my goodness, this is wrong for Terrence Crawford. Then they shouldn't do this to Terrence Crawford. But yet on the flip hand, for months and months and months, I had a lot of y'all running around saying, well, he should just sign. He should just sign. He should just take the biggest fight of his life. He should just do with the B side. He should do what all of the rest of the folks did. Which one is it? Y'all are blowing all over the fucking place like the wind. Which one is it? Listen to me. Here's the answer. Whatever Terrence Crawford is happy with, because he is the man that put the work in, that went through 3 weight classes, that gathered all of those world titles. He is the man that brought that type of shine that he brought to ESPN. He is the man that produced the biggest fight in boxing. He did all of this shit. Whatever is happy for him and the number that he can live with. Stop trying to force him to sign something that doesn't make sense to the man. He may know things about it that we don't. He got lawyers and shit working on this. They know every stream of revenue that's coming in about this fight. Y'all don't have no clue. They know every single dime that's flowing in here. They know exactly what they check at the door. But y'all want to sit back and tell them what they should and shouldn't do. How much he's worth and not worth. Terrence Crawford knows what he's doing. He's done great business up until this point, fight fans. Why doubt him now? He's done awesome business up until this point. So damn good that PBC is sitting back like, I don't even know if we can afford you, bro. Yeah, you might be not this guy and that guy, but we don't even know if we can afford you. And people are saying, yo, even with the deal that we constantly, the rumor that's floating around right now, that still would be the best thing that Earl Spence has ever seen. And that's Terrence Crawford going, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? But to them, it's the best thing that they've ever seen. That ain't how Crawford knows how to move. He moves according to what's good for him, as he should, because he is the one putting his life on the line, risking it all, moving through classes, blowing the lid off of boxing, feeding 75% of boxing. I'm going to stop right there. Feeding 75% of boxing, taking care, paying everybody's bills around this bitch. Paying everybody's bills. Crawford is the hottest name in boxing right now. Him and Earl. The hottest names in boxing. They are feeding boxing. The fighters got to clout chase them, right? The fighters got to clout chase them. The promoters got to clout chase them. Content creators can't go more than 24 hours without talking about them. Crawford and Spence is feeding boxing. And y'all got the nerve to question what moves that they should and should not make? You can't eat without speaking about Terrence Crawford. You can't eat. Content creators go 2 days without talking about him, and it's like, you know what? I don't even really want to talk about nothing else, man. Like, I want to talk about Crawford and Spence. Fuck it, man. Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't mad at you. That's cool. That's just the way it is. But the point I'm making is, dog, ain't nobody eating without talking about anything else. You got to talk about Crawford. He is feeding boxing. He is feeding the Spence fans. He is feeding the Crawford fans. He's feeding boxing. He's literally paying child support in boxing because everybody is eating off Crawford. But we questioning in this man, in his moves. It's crazy, fight fans. Simply crazy. So when it comes to the rumors, I don't believe them. I'll wait for the fighters once again. Salute to the cat that dropped this, but bruh, I mean, out of respect, I'll just say, I just don't think that fans are we just at a point where everybody's got so much information. We just waiting on the green light from the fighters, as you should. As you should. As you should. Salute to the homie DGO. What's up? Good morning, man. DGO says, yo, what up, man? Crawford is better be careful with shady deals from the PBC. That back-end money is nothing but BS. Facts. My thing is this, bro, and I'm sticking back with what we've already formulated here on the channel, and this fight that we've guesstimated would probably come up to about $20 to $25 million. And that's from with the public information that we do have about this fight. We're looking at about a $20 to $25 million fight. That ain't breaking the bank, fight fans. From what we do know is that both fighters originally requested a guarantee of $10 million apiece. That's $20 million. You break down $5 million on the pay-per-view back end, we're talking about a $25 million fight. You sell 400,000 pay-per-views, that makes $32 million off the jump. We think that this fight does 400,000 pay-per-views. That's what this fight is looking like a cost. I think the problem is what has been all along is finding a sweet spot on guaranteed money, period. Is PBC willing to basically take that risk and front loading that money, not sure that they'll get it back on the back end with pay-per-view? So it's like they want a number that they can trust. They want a number that they say, well, we know it's going to make this if we pay them this guarantee. They want a number that they can trust. And that's the sweet spot that's going to take some pushing and pulling. We don't know what will be sacrificed in lieu of to make up for some money. It could be anything. That's called negotiations, fight fans. And it's called we all need to mind our damn business on that shit. That's what that's called. But as far as the back-end money, PBC is clearly weary about their back-end money because they don't believe it's there. That's why they don't want to front-load the money. And I guess it's like a game of chicken, you know what I mean? They're saying to the fighters like, well, look, if you believe that the money's going to be there, then take less on the guarantee and get it here. And PBC is like, if that's what you believe, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just all about finding a sweet spot, I believe, you know what I'm saying? And I think that with this much money, with this much interest, with this being the biggest fight in boxing, there's no way that the folks at PBC can walk back to their boardroom unless they sell Keith Thurman and anyone as an alternative and say, hey, why we walked away from the biggest fight in boxing. Even Steven Espinoza will have to walk into Showtime, a publicly traded company, and tell them, hey, man, and he can't lie publicly. He can't lie. So he would have to walk back into Showtime and say, hey, well, we failed on producing the biggest fight in boxing for this reason. That's a hell of a story to tell. That's a hell of a story to tell. So I think they find it. You know what I'm saying? Lana, how you, Lana? What's going down, bro? Man, I hope Thurman is the backup because I don't know if this Spence Crawford fight is going to happen. Yeah, you know what? I heard Keith on that, bro. Let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Keith. Let's talk about Keith. And Keith Thurman came out this week, fight fans, for those who missed it. And he basically came out, just like Lana just said there, he came out and said that, look, man, he is going to be the backup. You know what I mean? At least that's what someone is telling him. Or that's what he feel deep down inside. According to Keith, this is what Keith had to say right here, and I'll put it right here on your screen, fight fans. He says, and I quote, I am saying, where's my contract? They keep waiting, and I'm still waiting. Why? I don't know. Do you? I think I'm the fall guy. It's not the worst fight in the world. I don't like being the bench boy. I don't like being the fall guy, but I've been waiting. They've been waiting. People have been waiting. Everybody is waiting. Spence versus Crawford is a great fight. We want to see these world champions fight. We want to see a unified welterweight champion, and it will be historical. Floyd Mayweather never did it in his 50-0 unblemished record. The man's never done it. And I'll leave it right there. I guess when he's saying unified, he meant to mean undisputed. So Keith is telling you that he's being felt like he's the fall guy or the bench guy or maybe the guy who got to stay ready just in case he get that call, because we know how PBC do. They got a bad habit of playing the switcheroo game at the last minute. Just ask Manny Pacquiao. They got a bad habit of playing the switcheroo game at the last minute. Just ask Manny Pacquiao. And maybe Keith is saying, look, I'm not playing this game with y'all. You feel me? I'm going to stay ready here. You know what I'm saying? I hope so, Keith. I hope so, because I would hate to see something like that and your number do get called, and then you turn around and say, no, I need a tune-up or a get back from a get back, or I got to get back in shape or get back somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I would hate to hear an answer like that come from Keith. But Keith is clearly waiting in the wings. We don't see Keith get in a fight. Keith is saying that he ain't been seeing nothing yet. He's been promised a list of names. We've seen endless now interviews from Keith saying that he's just basically, in a nutshell, been waiting. You know what I'm saying? Sitting around eating Uber Eats and shit. You know what I'm saying? Keith is just waiting. And you got to ask yourself as a boxing fan, well, what is Keith waiting for? Why is Keith being put on the back burner? Why is Keith not given an opponent? I mean, he's been elevated to number 1 in the WBC after beating Mario Barrios, fight fans, a 40-pounder. Yes. Elevated to number 1 in the WBC, mainly also due to the fact that Virgil Ortiz was number 1, but he ain't done nothing for the WBC. His last fight was for the WBA. Or was it BO? I don't know. But it wasn't the BC. And at the end of the day, Keith is now number 1. And you got to look at all of this funny moving and say, like, damn, dog, what are they doing with Keith? Are they really lining him up to be in position or to be next? Or, you know, will Keith get that Jerron Boots in his fight that he's resisting? I don't know. I really don't know. Got a hard time believing that Keith fights Jerron Ennis. I see that they doing all of this clout chasing crap with him talking about Laura. I guess they trying to get Laura name hot. I don't know. He's talking about Danny Garcia. I don't think that that's a realistic possibility. Looking at Keith and the way Keith moves, he won't take that fight for just nothing. Like, that type of fight, it's a good big name fight, but he'll look at Danny, got an advantage at 54. Danny ain't got no belt. Why would Keith take that fight? He says he's the backup plan. So we're going to see. And these are the things that PBC had to do once again, fight fans, to make sure that Terrence Crawford had nowhere else to go. And another theory that I have is we got to watch the movement in the WBO, because if things fall through, what I believe is that PBC will attempt to do Jerron Ennis versus Terrence Crawford. That's what I think. And if they feel like that Jerron Ennis can win that fight, well, he's already locked in. He get that belt, they'll pivot him to a fight with Earl or whoever, and Showtime would be smiling from ear to ear on a situation like that. Trust and believe. You better watch for the wrench, fight fans. Watch for the wrench. These are all of the things that PBC has been doing over the last few months. They have been positioning their people. They have been making sure that the leverage disappears. The whole 9 yards. Very smart. Very smart. Lennar says that the only problem is Spence doesn't want to fight him. That's a huge problem, but money talks, bro. Money talks in this boxing game, and Keith can say never, 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 but if faced with the offers or the decisions of having to fight Jerron Ennis or Keith Thurman, I think he takes Keith. That's very, that's just the facts how I think he'll take it. I think he'll go for the Keith fight as opposed to Ennis. He ain't really got much to gain out of either one, far as titles or undisputed or nothing like that. But what he does in Keith's fight, it's a bigger name fight, and it's much more baked in than, say, him and Jerron Ennis. So money talks, man. And if they come to Earl Spence Jr. and say, bro, hey, we got $4 million for you for Keith Thurman. We couldn't pull the Crawford fight. We got $4 million for you for Keith Thurman. I think Earl takes that shit. Never always means never until a dollar sign is attached to that bad boy. You feel me? And that's something I think deep down inside even Keith knows. Keith knows that eventually if the rubber meets the road and Earl gets a decent offer and the Crawford fight is going away, he'll take that fight. All of that, Earl, somehow he going to move up to 54 and do all of that. And hey, I hear him. You know, I hear him, but I don't see it happening. And it's not going to be a great look for Earl in a nutshell, because guys like me are going to let a few weeks go past and look back, because hindsight is always 20/20. And then I'm going to ask the question of why Earl Spence Jr. never fought the number 2, never fought the number 3, refused and said never to fight Keith Thurman, didn't fight Jaron Ennis. I'm going to say, why did he walk away from the toughest smoke at 147? I'm going to ask, why did he walk away from the toughest smoke at 147? No, this ain't Danny. No, this ain't Sean. It ain't Ugas. It ain't Broken Brook. It ain't Lil Mike. You know what I mean? This is smoke. I'm talking about the cream. I'm talking about smoke. We talking about chimney smoke. And I'm going to ask the question of, when that smoke got heavier, why did Earl Spence walk away? I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to ask the question of how Earl Spence walked away from his rivals. I'm going to ask the question, and I would love to hear the answer. These things must be done, fight fans. And this is something, and I want to give a major shout out to the homie Lana, because he kind of brought me back down to earth when last time we spoke, Lana. You don't even know it, you know what I'm saying? You kind of brought me back down to earth when you said something to the effect of, you know what, it's not a good look for Earl to leave the class and not face his rivals. And you know what? That made me go, you know what? That's something that Mainman would say. And you're right. That's 100% right. And I have to embrace that, because Earl Spence Jr. to this point, is as much as y'all love the things that he's done, unfortunately, he has yet to face his rivals. And that is a major mark in boxing. Y'all may think nothing of it, but it's major, especially to a retired fighter. That's major. These are my contemporaries. All right, Sean and Danny were on the route to my guys, Keith and Earl. They were on the route. They were the stops that I made to make it to my contemporaries. And I have to settle these scores. Or else you're going to ask the question of what defines Earl Spence Jr. Was it just filling up arenas and putting all of these people in Texas and AT&T? Is that what's going to define him? Because he needs a definition. And without beating your rivals and facing your rivals, you basically have no definition. You're a bounty hunter. You're a bounty hunter at that point. Earl wants to be more than a bounty hunter. He wants to look back and say that these were my memorable nights and my memorable fights. These are the reasons why I'm walking through the hall. Not for just being a bounty hunter, but for getting rid of my contemporaries. That's how boxing works. That's how fighters are content in their retirement. Even when they wrapped up all of the cash that they can make, and they've wrapped up their rivals. What does Muhammad Ali look like retiring without facing Joe Frazier? What does that look like, fight fans? Why did Sugar Ray Leonard didn't feel too happy and content in his retirement without facing Marvin Hagler? What does that look like? How does Ray sit with that decision? You feel me? And same way with Keith. Let's not make this let's not make this just the Earl thing, huh? Same way with Keith. Keith hasn't faced a rival. Now, it could be argued, him and Danny, but I really kind of charge Keith's rival with being Earl. They've walked too parallel for too many years, side by side in the same division, being the top of the class, being at the top of the class, and both being on the same side of the street, having numerous run-ins, you know what I mean? Numerous back and forths. They defined each other to a certain degree. Now, the thing is for boxing fans is that Terrence Crawford has now kind of moved into that spot where over the last few years, it's been Crawford and Spence. So now, Spence has effectively kicked up a new rival with Terrence Crawford, and that has to be settled. These are all of the things that we've always expected from the sport of boxing, fight fans. And I think it's honestly to a certain degree, I'm coming around. I'm coming around, fam. I'm coming around. I've seen something in Keith. Keith really wants this shot. Now, whether it's because of a missed opportunity, because of a retirement check, whatever the fuck, but he wants this shot. And I do have a problem with not thinking that Keith that Keith may have something in his head that he wants to fight his rival. He wants the answer. You don't want to go through the rest of your life saying, could I have beaten him or couldn't I not have beaten him? That's torture, fight fans. That's torture for a fighter. Do y'all not understand that? You're too old that you can't fight no more, and you wish you would have took that moment. That is torture for a fighter. And so I don't want that for Keith, just like I don't want it for Earl, and just like I don't want it for Terrence. They all need to tie these ends up. It's unfortunate. This is the top of the class, fight fans, and none of them has fought each other. I want to say that one more time. This is the top of the class, and none of them has fought each other. No way that these boys can walk in their retirement and be cool with this shit. No way. Especially when they know that you put any three of these dudes together, that they moving mountains around this jump. It's huge. It will be very unfortunate if suits ruin this moment. Very unfortunate. I don't charge the fighters. I'm beyond it. I'm looking at the suits. I want all men respected for all that they've done. Whatever that sweet spot number is. I want them all respected. They deserve it. Suits make the shit happen. You know what I'm saying? Real spill. Hey, Knockout Boxing 86 TV in the house. Knockout over there doing it, bruh. Loving it, man. Caught the back end of the last night's debates, bro. I caught a few minutes of it. I got to finish it up. But I caught some of it late last night, man. You got me on home last night, KO. You know what I'm saying? Hey, keep doing what you doing. Y'all kicking up dust over there, bruh. I be over. You already know when Mainman do it. Oh, we gonna do it to the max. You know what I'm saying? Salute to my brother KO out there doing the damn thing. You did. Lennar say, yo, man, salute. Oh, are you saluting up KO? Much love, much love. And Keith looked great. His last fight, he definitely got something left. We'll see. We'll see whether he do, whether he don't. He just, at the end of the day, bro, it's a rivalry. And I'm all for rivalries being tied up at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? All for rivalries being tied up at the end of the day, fight fans. So that's just what it is, man. I can't see it no other way. And like I said, I don't want any of these fighters to be sitting around unhappy in their old age. Like, damn, we coulda, woulda, and shoulda. We coulda, woulda, and shoulda. Boxing fans, last thing before I move to the next thing, just look, let these boys work it out, man. Stop telling Terrence Crawford to sign anything. He know what he doing. He got lawyers. He's done best business. Look, people probably would have thought that he was crazy for saying go to Top Rank and re-sign with Top. The man got the highest guarantee amongst every welterweight. He's done great business. He's became undisputed, touched lineal belts. Why are you think you got the answers more than he do? Earl can't go nowhere, and I don't think he wants to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Let them work it out, fam. Let them work it out. Let's go here real quick, man. Let's go here real quick. Just real quick, fight fans. Real quick. I want to talk about this, man. And what's going on with my man Mike Tyson? I want to hear the name. Say the name. What's going on with Mike, man? What have they done with my man Mike, man? I hear Mike Tyson is not too happy with this new Hulu series that's coming out based on his life story. Now, I seen the previews to this joint, and I was geared up for it. Like, yeah, I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen a Tyson flick since that joint that Michael Jai White did back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I used to like that joint, the Tyson movie, remember? I ain't really seen nothing on Tyson since then. I seen a little Broadway play that he did, but far as like, you know, biopics and, you know, I thought that Jamie Foxx was talking about doing something with Mike or whatever, but either way it go, man, Hulu is doing a whole little mini-series on Mike Tyson's life, and it looked interesting. I got to admit, it looked real interesting, man. And, you know, we all are fans of Mike Tyson. This is the superhero known as Mike Tyson. We all happy with the full circle that Mike Tyson has kind of came around in his life. Seemed like he's more at peace. He's found more peace through a life of turmoil. And we are happy with the man that Mike Tyson is like becoming and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Real philosophical brother and shit. You feel me? But Mike Tyson ain't too happy about this Hulu thing, man. And I'm gonna go over here to Mike Tyson's Instagram, fight fans, and we'll put the message that Mike Tyson has left on his Instagram. Give it a second, man. I got my Instagram loading up in the background, man. But yeah, Mike doesn't seem too happy about this. And you know, I'm gonna tell you, I don't like stories like this, fight fans. This is too close and reminiscent to me what musical artists go through. And we be talking about that here on the channel a lot. How a lot of musical artists get messed out of their publishing, and you know, they create these beautiful things, these beautiful songs, and these beautiful catalogs and stuff. And at the end of their career, they don't own any of it, and they can't make no money off of it. They can't get no royalty money. Shit. Look at and I don't mean to take up for the cat or nothing like that, but just he's a good example. Look at R. Kelly. R. Kelly sitting in the jail rotting away now, as he should, right? But rotting away, can't get no money off of none of the stuff that he made. The man says, I don't even own I Can Believe I Can Fly. He says, I don't own none of the music that I did. I couldn't read or write, so I ended up signing bad deals, and I don't own none of it. And now he can't profit off any of it in his later years. That's the story of so many musical acts. And you know, a lot of them who are on top of their game, they get hip to the publishing game fast. I've recently learned through the grapevine, and we've covered it here on the channel, that Prince honestly learned the publishing game honestly from Michael. I never knew that. I knew Michael was the pioneer of it, but honestly, Prince and Michael were actually really, really good friends that hung out a lot behind the scenes, and Mike was honestly schooling Prince. We'll talk about that on a later stream, but they were schooling each other. And Prince learned about this. He learned about it late in the game, but he learned about it. He got his rights towards the end, but he learned about it late. And that's the same shit that's going on with Mike. Well, we'll put this on the screen, fight fans. According to Mike via Instagram, he says, yo, man, don't let Hulu fool you. I don't support their story about my life. It's not 1822, it's 2022. They stole my life story and didn't pay me. To Hulu executives, I'm just a N-word that they can sell on the auction block. I'm gonna stop right there. Now, according to the reporting that's out about this, there's talks about that Mike Tyson in the past have sold his biopic rights or his life rights in the past, and a particular entity, I guess, Hulu, you know, they bought these life rights from another entity, supposedly. So Mike supposedly, allegedly, doesn't own his rights, but Mike and his team of lawyers have since came out and stated that they do own the rights to Mike's life, and they have bought those rights back in the past. So now it's an argument of whether or not Hulu is in the right or wrong to air this. My thing is this. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that Hulu, who is a major network at this point, would jump out there like this if they didn't have some sort of ownership somewhere. Because this is big. Mike Tyson is a major figure. They should have known the heat that would come their way if they didn't have all of their paperwork in order, I would think. But I don't put nothing past no outfit, no suit, no corporate conglomerate. I don't put nothing past nothing. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, it's hard for me to figure out, like, how can somebody create something like Mike Tyson's career or Mike Tyson's life and not have no, like, how do you not even pay him or anything to have him have anything to do with it? How are you not consulting with him about his own life? I would think that if you're going to do a story about Mike Tyson, you would at the very least have to consult with Mike Tyson. Who are you asking? Are you just going about talking about the books that are out there being written about his life or the stuff that Tyson's talk? Who are you getting your info if you're not getting it directly from Mike? Hollywood? And so Mike is not in support of this movie. How do you feel about that, fight fans? Does that make you change your ambitions on wanting to see this movie or not? Do you still want to see it knowing that Mike is not going to be a part of this, or they're not paying Mike for his life story? How do you feel about this? I'm a little mixed. I mean, I'm a consumer, you know what I'm saying? And I honestly want to see the show, to be honest with you. But I do feel like, damn, it's still messed up that they doing this to Mike. And I love me some Mike Tyson, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, man, I want to see it, you know what I'm saying? I want to see it. My thing is, look, Mike, you can't blame the people for watching. You know, in order for you to make this stuff fall apart, you got to get sponsors to pull out. You got to get stuff like that to go on, man, because the consumer, if you got Hulu on your phone or on your tablet or TV, and you just flipping through Hulu and you see this shit, you gonna watch it. You gonna watch it. You can sit, I support Mike. I love Mike and I'm gonna support Mike. But your ass gonna watch it and you know you are. It's Saturday night, ain't nothing on, no fights ain't on and shit. Hey man, I'm gonna go watch the Mike Tyson story. But I understand Mike's cries here, bro. And I hope my deal is, man, with Mike, you know, in Mike's case, he do a lot of business. That's something I've covered here on the channel. Mike, when it comes to business, Mike is the cream of the crop. Mike has done everything from movies to energy drinks to video games he's capitalized on his brand and legacy for years upon years upon years. Ain't no telling what the hell Mike decided. Mike done did so many deals. He's been screwed out of some deals. He's been a promoter at one point in time. Mike has done everything. Everything. I am so shocked that they never dropped a new Mike Tyson Punch Out. Ain't y'all shocked about that? I think Tyson said he stopped dealing with the people or the video game people or whatever. But dog, as popular as that game was back in the day, how do you not do a part 2 to Mike Tyson's Punch Out? I ain't talking about Punch Out. I mean Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Because they had 2 versions of that game. They had regular Punch Out and you had Mike Tyson. But why they never did another Mike Tyson Punch Out? But I don't know, man. It's a real hardcore fight, fan. So the reason I got his picture up here with Dana White is because, well, that's one person, and this is what I was saying. If Mike Tyson is going to have any sort of momentum and wanting to slow this down, it ain't, the consumers are going to be consumers. People are going to consume, you know what I mean? My thing is, you will have to stop this from within, and that will be through sponsorships and advertisements and stuff like that. And, well, it already is clear that Mike already has a major ally on his side, and that ally is none other than Dana White. Of course, also Mike Tyson, well, I'll put this up on the screen in a second. Yeah, that ally is Dana White of the UFC, head of the UFC. Dana White says that he basically has pulled his sponsorships of this situation with Hulu because he heard that Mike Tyson was against it. And well, Mike Tyson is very happy to hear that news. I'll put it right here on your screen, fight fans. According to Mike Tyson, he says, and I quote, per his social media, per his Twitter, he says, and I quote, Hulu tried to desperately pay my brother at Dana White millions without offering me $1 to promote their slave master takeover story about my life. He turned it down because he honors friendship and treating people with dignity. I'll never forget what he did for me. Just like, and it ended right there, whatever quote that he was putting up. It just ended right there. That's what's up. Salute. Hey, Dana White is smart. You don't want to be on Mike Tyson's bad side. Right now, the man is a cultural icon right now. The man is a cultural icon. When I get that notification that there's a new episode of Hot Boxing that's just been uploaded, I'm on it like the Hornet, fight fans. I'm on it like the Hornet. I mean, I'm watching. And then the whole time, look, sometimes I might just be like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and lock that in and save that jump so I can watch it when I got me a nice little quiet corner or somewhere where I ain't got a bunch of distractions and I can really chill and watch this thing. That's how much I'm into Mike Tyson's hot boxing. The man has become a cultural icon. And so getting on his good side, I would think would be a good thing, especially for a guy like Dana White, who would rather be more so invested in the brand of Tyson as opposed to being invested into the brand of Hulu, who Hulu ain't going nowhere. Trust me. UFC is way too hot. Dana got the leverage. If he ever wants to get something from Hulu, he can easily get it. Trust me. So salute to Dana White. Now, Dana White had this to say, and this is the reason why he says he shot down the deal for those who missed it. Dana White says, and I quote, so we did a deal, or we were about to do a deal, where we were on the verge of a deal with Hulu to promote this Mike Tyson unauthorized biography or whatever it is. And Craig Bossari, my head of production, came to me and said, hey, I'm hearing that Tyson isn't happy about this thing. White explained to the media. I called Mike and said, we're in a deal with these guys. We have a verbal agreement to do this deal with them. And he said, Dana, they're effing me. And that's all that I had to hear. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. He goes on and says, I said that I am out then. I'll squash this deal. So I killed the deal and told him that it was over and that I killed it and we won't be promoting that show for Hulu. And he did what he did, end quote. And those are the words of Dana White, fight fans. I can't do nothing but give 2 thumbs up to that and say salute to Dana White for standing with Mike Tyson in this, man. Whether it was a business decision, a friendship decision, a moral decision, whatever is behind Dana White's decision, a financial decision, whatever the case is, it's the right decision. If Mike ain't happy about it, it's good to see that someone of a huge stature or a huge status stands next to Mike. Salute. Salute. So once again, fight fans, how do you feel about the biopic now? Will you still consume? Or will you support Mike in protest and say, man, I am not watching that situation because if Mike ain't cool with it, I ain't cool with it. It's hard for me to say, fight fan. It depends on the night. I don't know Mike. I love Mike, but I don't know Mike. I'm a consumer. And it's hard for me to say. If that joint is on and there ain't nothing else good to watch, fight fans, I know a lot of y'all might say, well, man, I gotta do what's right. But what the hell is right and what's wrong as a consumer? It's a hard call. It's a hard call for me. Let that bad boy be on and ain't shit on TV but Andy Griffith. Shit. I'm watching that bad boy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hey, KO says, yo, man, thank you, bro. I can't wait to have you, man. I know you're going to cook all day, fam, and I can't wait to come on over, fam. Can't wait to come on over. Yeah, man, DGO, I looked at this trailer, and it looks phony. I'd rather wait for the Jamie Foxx depiction. So Jamie is actually doing it. And I seen, if I'm not mistaken, and if I can, I can put that back on the screen. I noticed in Mike's comment thread that he left, on his Instagram right here, on his comment thread, we got Jamie Foxx in the comments saying, I love you, bro. Y'all see it right there on the right-hand side. We got Jamie Foxx commenting on this. And you know what? And it's interesting. We had some more comments. It was another one that I saw. Oh, here it is. Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey came out in the comment section. She says, sorry to hear that, champ. Netflix did the same thing to me. Oh. So Ronda Rousey got something to say about that, too. She says the Netflix did the same thing to her. I mean, hey, man, you can't trust these big corporate conglomerates, man. You know what I mean? You got to be careful, man. You just really got to be careful. You know what I mean? And I don't know what's right and what's wrong, but I do think it's Mike ain't been paid, that it's still foul, and it is wrong. I may try to hold out. I can't say. I may try because I really don't like this shit, man. I'm going to try, but shit, man, it better be nothing on TV. It better be something else on TV, you know what I'm saying? But I may try. Let's push on, fight fans. Let's push on, shall we? Mike, I hope you work it out, champion. I hope you work it out. And salute once again to Dana White for standing next to Mike Tyson. So let's push out. Let's see. Hey, we got a fight on tonight, don't we? We got Mickey Bay versus Tevin Farmer going down tonight, correct? Yeah, that's right. We do got that fight going on tonight. Hey, first off, I want to say salute to both of them men for getting a fight and ginning up enough interest for someone to put this on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ready to toss these fighters to the wayside yet. They found the lane. And I want to say congratulations for both men for finding a lane. You know that these are two fighters that right now doesn't have a major promoter. They don't have a major network deal, but they found the way to get a fight. I'm always down to see two fighters that find a way to make a fight. Who am I leaning for? For Tevin or for Mickey Bay? I'm going to say 50-50. Don't really got a dog in the race. Both men are clearly past their prime. I honestly, if I had to lean, I'd lean towards Bay, and mainly because of the last version of Tevin that I saw. And I'm not ready to say that Tevin health-wise, I don't know. if Tevin health-wise is all the way there. I hope so, and I'm praying that he is. I don't want to see him get any hurt. But after Tevin scared the hell out of me in that JoJo Diaz fight, after he looking like he had a bad case of the hiccups, and there clearly was a nerve issue going on there, I believe, you know what I mean, because he just couldn't stand still. He was just literally like doing this, and he clearly had no control over it, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, bro, that's a nerve thing. And clearly whatever is wrong with Tevin, he ain't speaking but so far on it. He's painting a good picture. I mean, money talks. Fighters got bills. They got to continue to fight. We know how this go, fight fans. And so I just don't know where Tevin is at health-wise. And I hope he's okay. That's all I will say, you know what I mean? But I do believe, once again, that both men have been way too inactive over time. It's going to really be a hard call to make it like 50-50. It's whatever the best man that shows up. I'm leaning Bay. He's been seemingly still kind of more engaged with the sport, as even while training Devin Haney and everything. Seemingly still more engaged with the sport than Tevin is. So I'm going to lean Bay. But I'm looking forward to that fight. I'll definitely watch it. I'm not sure if I'm going to cover it in immediate reaction, but I will definitely watch it. And if I don't cover it in an immediate reaction, fight fans, then what we'll do is we'll bring it up on the next episode of We Talking Boxing Live, which will be Sunday. You know what I'm saying? But I'll lean Bay. You know what I'm saying? Another guy that's coming back this weekend. We got my man Teofimo Lopez, right? Busting back on the scenes against this dude Ocampa. Not familiar with Campa like that. Haven't really seen him fight. But I say I am a believer in Teo. And, you know, I'm rooting for Teo. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan. I hope the takeover continues to move to 140. We see that Teo is basically shooting down the Ryan Garcia situation, which I think is beautiful. And I'm glad that he's shooting down that old clout chaser ass Ryan. You know what I'm saying? We got Oscar De La Hoya running around. Oh, well, yeah, I'm going to the Teo fight. I'm going to the Teo fight. I'm going to be there. It's Teo. It's all about Teo. Everyone loves Teo. Clout chasing his ass off once again. Teo coming out to the public and shooting that down and saying that, yo, man, I don't know why he's out here speaking on my name, and basically saying that he thinks he's doing it basically for social media, for the press, for the presses to press up his name and to keep him in the conversation or whatever. And it's basically fake. It's crap. And, you know, and I agree. But Teo's reign, we'll see how far it goes at 140, fight fans. And with the names that are up there, does he have a chance? I'd say yeah, man. I'd say yeah. A lot of people are still like wanting to believe in Teo, but they just need to see what he got left in the tank. Make sure that the ego is still not running rampant right now. Making sure that his feet are back on the ground. Making sure that the chemistry between him and his pops is still alive and kicking. These are the things that the fans are just kind of waiting in the wings to see, and I don't blame y'all. We don't know how fighters going to react after losses. We don't know if they're going to become out of character, go above and beyond, and do too much, do too little. I believe the vibes and the energy that I'm getting from Teo is he wants to continue to prove. He's still I think the hunger has returned to Teo. I mean, I think that Teo, honestly, his ego did kind of grow on him a bit after the Lomachenko win. I don't think that he's wrong for running around and acting like that he was a star and acting like that he was a big name and playing big with Top Rank. I don't think that he was wrong for that at all. I think that he was actually smart for that move. I think that he overplayed his hand, unfortunately. He was in a very good position where things could have went a lot different. And Teo did exactly what he was supposed to do and talk and act the way he was supposed to do. And a lot of people don't agree with me on that, but we just going to have our differences because I believe that Teo was being sabotaged. He was being held back. He was being underpaid. He was being undershown. And Bob Arum was happy to have him in that position is what I believe. I believe that Bob Arum slipped up and made a big mistake. I don't even want to say Bob Arum. Top Rank screwed up and made a big mistake when they let to the public, when Teo got his hands on that email saying how they were attempting to sabotage his purse bid to keep his prices down. to make sure that he doesn't make a certain amount of money, so he won't come back to Top Rank saying, I made that in my last fight. Well, we're going to start from that and go up. They were trying to sabotage Teo's earning potential because they did not want a spoiled guy on their hands. They didn't want a guy like, in say, Terrence Crawford's case, coming back to them saying, oh, well, you paid me this in my last fight. We need to be going up for harder fights. Think about it. And so Teo had Bob Arum in a position, or Top Rank in a position where he could have sued the pants off them boys. They sat down with Teo and gave him a new deal to shut him up. That's what happened, fight fans. That's why Teo was happy afterwards. And he was happy to go back to Top Rank. And he was happy to go back to ESPN because he cut a deal. When he was in a position of prominence, where Top Rank and ESPN was his playground, and they had to oblige anything that he said. And then he lost. And that's when the tables turned again. So it's easy for folks to run around and say, well, Teo lost his head. And Teo played big. And Teo this and Teo that. But Teo was being sabotaged by his own damn promoter. All because the market spoke. And the market told Teo you're worth more. That's what happened. And Bob wanted to go against the market. This is what I've been saying about bidding, fight fans. Going back to my original point about Spence and Crawford needing to be bidded. Teo got that kind of money for the fight between him and Kambosos because there was a bidding process between Triller, DAZN, and ESPN and Top Rank, right? There was a bidding process, and the top dollar came out, and Teo came out on top. The market spoke. See, in Crawford and Spence's case, they are afraid for the market to speak because they know that the market is going to tell them that this fight is worth more. I guarantee if they was to drop their fight into the bidding waters, watch how much money come out the woodworks, fight fans. This network would find it. Triller would find it. The Saudis would find it. Everyone would find it. Y'all can't tell me that that bag of money don't sit in the Middle East. It does. But the fact of the matter is that PBC is just aligned with one particular network, and they're trying to give this fight to that one network. It's not a bidding process. And that brings me back to Teo. Teo was getting that top dollar because of a bidding process, fight fans. That's what it was. Think about this. Think about this. Bob Arum got Sean Porter for $4 million, right? Y'all remember how that went? That fight was on its way to a purse bid, and Bob stepped in and said, oh, hell no. Why? Can't let the market speak about this fight. We'll just give them top dollar because they're going to get it anyway if we let it go to purse bid. That's the secret that the promoters don't tell you. Bob Arum says, I don't like purse bids. I don't like. Why? Because you lose control and the money starts to run rampant. And you're going to have to deal with the ego of that fighter when he come back home. Ain't that right? And now that fighter's going to look at you and say, well, hey, on my last fight, I made this. Why can't I make this going forward? Well, you're not worth it, kid. That network overpaid you. Well, hell, they paid me. We're going up from here. They be having little stipulations like that in their contracts. Y'all don't even be knowing that shit. They can't go backwards. So that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes, man. But as in Teo's case, man, I want him to go get the job done. I want the takeover to continue to 140. Hopefully maybe him and Devin, or him and Devin, or him and Ryan, or I don't know, man. One of these little dudes, one of these, him and Gary Antoine, his route at 140 is going to get a lot stiffer. I mean, I ain't talking about no Zepedas and stuff like that. I mean the real smoke, and there's smoke up there. And if it ain't smoke up there, then they coming. Will Teo's takeover continue? I think it will. I think these boys gonna have a problem with Teo at 140. That's what I think, fight fans. I think these boys are gonna have a problem with Teo at 140. Hold on for a second. Now, speaking of which, we got Bob Arum, fight fans, in recent interviews. Speaking about Teo, you know, we just spoke about Teo and possibly Devin. Well, it looks like Bob Arum has came out in recent interviews, fight fans, and I'm gonna mute the music for a second. Came out in recent interviews speaking about the next step for Devin Haney and what is possibly up for him. Listen up and watch your ears. Oh, I'm gonna run this back. Hold on, this is too low. Hold on, stand by. Because it looked like what Bob is saying is what every boxing fan wants to hear, and that is we may be talking about, hold on. We may be talking about, hold on, stand by. We should be talking about Devin Haney versus Vasyl Lomachenko. Stand by for 1 second, fight fans, while I just take a swig of water, and I'm going to come on right back. Just let me get rid of this cotton mouth. Give me 1 second. All right, we back. Sorry about that. Had to take a swig of water, fight fans. All right, now let's run it on down, man. So Bob Arum is basically providing the route for Devin Haney's next fight. Listen up.
Do the rematch in October with Camboza, and after that, if he's successful, and Loma will be fighting up hopefully in October, we can look forward to a Loma Haney fight, which will be a massive event.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, this is what I've been talking about. Now, this sounds like more real talk, fight fans. According to Bob Arum, and this is something that this is a little something that we've been kind of talking about on the channel and keeping our third eye on. According to Bob Arum, he's stating that the routes are, and it looked like this is where we were going to end up at, Devin Haney and George Kambosos in October. Vasyl Lomachenko coming back for some sort of tune-up in October. After these two men, if they are successful in their next fights, we're going forward and we're getting Devin Haney versus Vasyl Lomachenko. That is the fight to make. That is the fight to make. Now, this is all Mainman Mademan has been talking about when it comes to little Devin. You dig? When it comes to Devin, stop the clout crap. You know what I'm saying? Stop saying names. You do not have to be Ryan Garcia. All right? Stop it. Stop being clout addicted. And just worry about the route that's in front of you. Because your route is great. Your route is solid. You complete that route, you will walk away a much stronger name, a much stronger fighter. You do not need to clout chase. And this is what be pissing me off. And that's why I don't like to hear these Haneys running around saying all of these fake names and fake fights when you clearly have a major route in front of you that's littered and flooded with fire-ass names. We're talking about a possible Shakur fight, a Lomachenko fight, a possible Teo fight. Why do you need to speak on Tank Davis when your route is higher, is hotter? Your route is on fire. The Haney fans, y'all running around saying that, yo, man, he may be robbed against Kambosos. Y'all are being deflected. That fight is in the bag, in my opinion, unless he's just thoroughly robbed. You know what I'm saying? Then again, I take that back. Maybe y'all, because they did attempt to rob Devin in that last fight. I still remember Devin one-sidedly beating George Kambosos. However, George Kambosos was 2 rounds away from a draw. He was 2 rounds away from a draw. But y'all are worried about Devin being robbed against Kambosos. Y'all better worry about Devin being robbed against Lomachenko. And that's the facts of the matter. Why? Loma has the story and can be promoted as a hero, a man that came back from fighting the good fight at home to come on back to boxing and win undisputed. Bob would love to promote that story. Bob would love to promote that story. That story to ESPN, to Bob, is fuego. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking fuego, fight fans. And at the end of the day, they would love to have that, as opposed to Devin, who being perceived as a boring style. You know how they feel about putting black fighters against each other, especially with styles like Shakur and Devin. You know what I'm saying? We know this, fight fans. Y'all can play stupid about it, but we know this. If there was anybody that they would want to come out on top, it's Lomachenko. And that's what Devin's game got to be trump tight. Will he beat Kambosos? I feel like easy. He should. From what we seen in that first fight, he should. He should. And I don't think that there's no threat of a rob, because Bob, at least not from Bob's standpoint, because I think, honestly, the fight he would love to make is Devin versus Loma. Would he like to do Loma versus Kambosos? Sure. Especially if he can get that government to put up some more money. But he clearly says that this is the route, and that will be the fight, the legacy-defining fight for Devin Haney at this point in his career. Some may say the undisputed fight. Kambosos' name doesn't hold the necessary weight. He did the win. Some people will perceive him as a flash in the pan. He had a good night against Teo. Whatever the case, Teo was too big for the weight. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? That ain't got enough weight behind it. Lomachenko. If Devin wipes out Lomachenko, his story is enhanced by double. Why? Because it looks like that Devin ties up the loose end of a guy that tried to duck him back in the day. And they created a damn franchise belt for the dude. Beat that dude and drop that franchise belt and say, you can have it. Remember they created this belt for you, Loma? Here. You can have it. Work it out with the WBC. I'm going to take this one. I need that moment. He didn't give that shit to me in the last fight when we asked for Devin to drop the franchise. It made it to his ears. I've heard them talking about it. He kept the franchise. We wanted him to drop that shit. Well, maybe you get a 2-time do-over if you beat Vasyl Lomachenko, the man that they created the belt for. Beat his ass and then give it to him. That shit will be gangsta. Gangsta, fight fans. Hell yeah. Do that shit. Do that shit, Devin. Your moment is coming. And at that point, you'll be 3 fights in with Top Rank. What else you got to lose? Usually sign a 3-fight deal, right? 2 with Kambosos, 1 with Loma. And walk out that bitch and leave the franchise belt at the door. I love that shit, man. Funny how, we don't give a damn about the franchise belt when Devin get it. I do. I still want to destroy it. I still want that belt destroyed. Devin can make himself a freaking folk hero. The fans will pour in your corner if you do something. You're going to be known as the first fighter to ditch the franchise belt. And that's respectable. That's respectable. What's up, D-Ray? Omaha in the building. Omaha, what's up, man? What's up? Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more in our house. What's up, Bruce? How you, man? Happy Friday, bruh. What's up with you? We say, what up, bro? What up with you, man? I'm chilling, man. I can't call it. I might spoil it, man. You know what I'm saying? Bodywork says, yo, elaborate on the problems that Teo is going to have, man. If I had to elaborate on the problems, the only issue that I wonder about with Teo is his father's tutelage going to take him far enough. We seen the level of tutelage that Teo got in that last fight in those heated moments. And a lot of us believe that the father did not give the right instructions to bring Teo through those moments. And I do wonder how high does the tutelage of Teo go? Meaning, like against the Nakatanis and the Komeis, it was good enough for that. But when you're going up to 40, the smoke is going to get heavier. If you get in there with a Regis, if you get in there with a Josh, if you get in there with a guy like a Gary Antoine or something like that, like, is your tutelage in those moments going to pull you through. That's the biggest concern I think I got. And, of course, we know that sons and fathers, it's hard for a son to pull away from his dad and say, hey, Dad, maybe you need to take a back seat and for better training. People have accused that between Angel and Danny and so on and so forth. And I do wonder, you know what I mean, how far would Teo Sr.'s training and tutelage take his son after what we saw in those close moments in Teo's last fight? I think Teo's going to be in good shape as far as his fitness is concerned. That don't concern me. I think that he was busting at the seams, and he's supposed to have been moved up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that their fighters were taking advantage of that. We had Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez whispering to each other, passing messages to each other like a couple little schoolgirls about Teo and his weight and how he's struggling with the weight. So I think that him moving up in weight would be nothing but good for him. And I think fitness-wise, we'll see an improvement in Teo. But tutelage and what happens when he gets into these tough moments with these much better fighters, we got to see. We got to see. We got to see. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what probably, because I really believe in Teo's skill set. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a good boxer puncher. I think he has good power. And I think he got to, when he's in shape and totally focused, he's a damn good fighter and going to be hard to beat. And I just think that he had a bad night against Kambosos. I think that he was schemed against, the on-again, off-again fight, the back and forth, the situation being played out in the world, him having a child. I mean, his head was all foggy. Him going through the behind-the-scenes stuff with Top Rank at that time. I just think there was a lot on his plate. You dig? And I think that if you put him in a fight with George Kambosos 5 times, he beat him 4 times. That's what I think. Salute to the homie, Mr. All Hell Breaks Loose, coming on in. Man, salute to you, family. Salute to you. Hey, thanks, body work. I hope that answered your question, fam. I hope that answered your question. You know what I'm saying? Let's go on to another topic, man. Let's see what's up. What else is going on around the sport? What else is going on around? Oh, I happened to catch this kid right here. Let me fall back for a second, man. I happened to catch this kid over here on the PBC podcast, and I've been keeping my third eye on him because I want to see how serious that he really is. And that's Chris Colbert. You know what I mean? We've been bringing about Chris Colbert, fight fans, these last few weeks, ever since that Frank Martin fight that went down, and ever since Earl Spence Jr. had called out Chris Colbert on social media. And everyone was giving Earl Spence, including myself, giving Earl Spence a lot of credit for playing promoter. And he clearly has done a good enough job and got a good enough stature to have lured Chris Colbert into a fight. Now, as a boxing fan, and knowing that Chris Colbert just came off that ass whipping against Hector Garcia, I'm saying to myself, Chris, you think this the right move? Is it the right move that Chris Colbert comes off of a loss in his first loss? And that wasn't that was a hard defeat, fight fans. To jump up in weight, to go from 130 to 135, and to take on a whirlwind of a fighter that's coming through the ranks like Frank Martin. Is that the smart move? And I'm wondering, how realistic is it? That's my golden question, fight fans. Y'all know that. How realistic is it? Are we just talking? Are we clout chasing? Or is some rubber going to meet the road? Well, in my opinion, listening to Chris, look like we're going to get some rubber meeting the road. And he ain't trying to hear any of the stuff that Mainman is talking about, or anyone else. Let's put his words right here on the screen, fight fans. According to Chris Colbert, when it comes to his, what happened in that Hector Garcia fight, he says, I didn't need no time to reflect. I already knew from the time that I walked in that I didn't feel like myself. So it's more so like something with him, like I'm saying with Teo. He just believed that it was a bad night. He believes that you put him in there 10 times, he winning 9 of them bad boys. He don't want to go back to the drawing board, fight fans. He don't want to hit the reset button. He got a taste of spotlight. And all that he's done up until this point to finally get his name to get into the conversations. He painted his hair purple. He painted his hair pink. Fool had on like nail polish, toenail polish, tight jeans, whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? This fool been looking for the spotlight, and he finally got a taste of it because he was kicking up dust with Shakur, and he was getting traction. He kicked up some dust with Deontay Wilder. He was getting some traction, and everybody knew he was a good fighter coming through the ranks. And then he had to basically rug pull from underneath him when he got embarrassed in front of the world. But Chris is saying that I've been through everything. I've been through hell and hot water, and one loss ain't wrecking my confidence. He's saying that he does not need time to reflect. He does not need time to go back to the drawing board. My thing is with Chris is, if you know, because he's clearly big for 130. If you know you busting at the seams, bro, you might want to test them waters if you go back to 30. It's just the natural order of things, fight fans. According to Chris, he goes on and says, I can tell you what went wrong, but I don't make no excuses at the end of the day. He was just the better man that night. Well said. Well said. Still a loss, bro, and a devastating loss. He says that we definitely is going to run it back after I beat up on my next opponent. So he's saying that after his next opponent, he wants a rematch with Hector Garcia. I like that position. The thing is that it's not going to make any sort of sense to do something like that if your next opponent going to be Frank Martin. Okay, so you're willing to go in there for a rematch. According to Chris, no date, but definitely will be back soon. I'm not the type of fighter that take a loss and stay out for the rest of the year. I can't do that. He got to keep working. He has to keep working. It'd be better probably brand and image-wise for you to get back into the win column. I mean, look, I ain't going to say you wrong for wanting the top smoke and want better smoke. I get it, man, but, bro, you still young. You still got time, man. Work out the kinks, bro. All I'm saying is work out the kinks before you get on that top floor. And even with the Frank Martin fight, technically, that's not even a top floor fight. Are you sure all of the kinks are worked out? Chris Colbert goes on and says, and this is now what he is saying actually about Frank Martin. This is what he got to say about Frank Martin. They got him as a big puncher or a killer. They got him as somebody scary. So I want to test myself and show the world what I am really about. Okay. Hey, Holmes, you lose. That setback going to be a major setback, bruh. And then you're going to ask yourself, what did I lose for? I respect you wanting to go in there. And I'm not saying that you can't maybe even beat Frank. I'm just saying that a career has to be, every move got to be calculated to a certain degree. And as a boxing fan, I'm rah-rah about it. Hell, fuck it. It's a good fight. I'll watch it. All of us will watch it, right? I mean, but is it smart? Ain't no hardware here. Ain't no overall super great ranking here. Like, ain't no you win, you the mandatory. Like, what? I mean, you sure? Because if you lose, brother, there's a chance where people are really going to tune you out. Risky fight. No. All Around Strong LLC says the ghost probably stops Colbert, in my opinion. Hey, man, this boy can punch. He got that Derrick James style. That break you down, soften you up, then break you up towards the second end of that fight. Is Chris ready? Chris got that pressure put on him in that last fight by Hector Garcia. Chris was up against the ropes, man. I mean, taking all kinds of punches. He's trying to slip and dip, looking tired. Maybe 35 would be a big help for him, but even if going to 35 is the answer, is going to 35 and taking on such a risky opponent, at this point in your career, does it make sense? It's hard, bro. It's hard to say. Real hard. But a salute to Chris. I mean, as a boxing fan, salute to you, Holmes. Salute to you. Salute to you. Chris goes on and says that when they ask him, like, what are the chances? Is it just being talked about? Is it real? Is it fake? What are the chances of this happening? Chris came out and definitively said, it's happening. Chris came out definitively, fight fans, and said that it's happening. Okay. Ain't nobody gonna tell you no, bruh. Ain't nobody gonna sit back and say you like, all right, we boxing fans, bring that shit. Bring it. You know what I mean? We with it, but bro, you sure? It's tough, man. I mean, you say so, Holmes. If you say so, man, I got Frank. I'm going to be honest with you, man. It's a tough, close fight, man. It's a close fight. But seeing what I seen in that last fight, man, I think Frank can do what Hector did and some more. I think Frank is probably a bigger puncher. No. According to Chris Colbert, and he's saying this about Earl Spence Jr., he says that, and I quote, the same way that he proves me wrong so many times, I'm going to prove him wrong that night. And me and him are going to put on a little, it's supposed to have been friendly bet. Put on a little friendly bet. When it comes to Earl Spence, you got to bet the right money, end quote. Now, they didn't want to talk much about that because that's not stuff that they supposed to be talking about in the public. But at the end of the day, look, he's serious. He's serious. And he's saying, look, he's willing to put a bet on with Earl. He's saying that it's happening. He's saying that he don't want to reflect. He want the big fights. He's saying, bring it, bring it, bring it. All right, bro. Hey, bro, I mean, we going to see, man. I hope this ain't a clout chase, man. And Chris is talking about like talking about this fight like it's definite. Go back and listen to the PBC podcast that just aired on Wednesday, fight fans. They had Chris Colbert on there for those who missed it. You can check it out over there. And he gave a full interview. He broke it all down. And you can listen to the gumption in his voice. And he telling y'all, dog, like this thing happening. And ain't nobody going to stop me. And I'm going to beat this dude. I'm like, all right. Slim, you real bold on that, man. Real bold. Real bold. He says, look, and I quote, I don't want to fight nobody that's going to give me a so-called confidence booster. I don't need that. All right, bro. Okay. Oh, Chris is talking real big, man. You talking real big, bro. Don't lose, man. Because this stuff going to come back and haunt your ass, bro, if you don't know what you doing. You talking about going to a higher weight class that you've never fought at after coming off of a loss. We rooting for you, Chris. I would, and keep in mind, if you are victorious in this situation, it would be a hell of a statement. It would be a lot to say. I do not deny that. It would be a lot to say. It would be a statement made. Chris is back. Chris is back on top. Stops the momentum of Frank Martin, you know what I'm saying, who's got a lot of momentum and got the name of Earl Spence Jr. attached to him. I mean, it would be something. It would be something, you know. It would be something. But damn, the risk, you know, it's very, very risky. Very, very risky. Now, of course, you know, they could not let that moment go past without Chris having to bring up the Gary Russell Jr. situation, in which we know that him and Gary Russell has recently had some words, in which, as you can see from that picture right there I just put on your screen, fight fans, him and Chris Colbert was going at it. Y'all remember, and then that Gary told him he could smack a dude right now and all this jazz. And as you see from Chris Colbert's eyes, they are forward and down. They are forward and down, fight fans. And that's where they remained the whole time that Gary Russell Jr. was standing right there in his face. I mean, Gary Russell can literally at that point breathe on him. And Chris didn't even turn his head. And Chris didn't even turn his head. I had a lot of y'all boxing fans coming through here. Hey, man, yeah, you see what Chris said about your boy Gary? And I'm like, look at the picture, man. And the picture says 1,000 words, because this is exactly how the video went. That's how Gary looked at him, and that's how Chris was looking through that whole moment. And then and look at Gary Antoine. Gary Antoine is even looking at him over there in the corner like, I dare you look this way. I dare your ass look this way. Hey, shawty, he had Gary Antoine right there. He had Gary like that all in his grill. And Chris doesn't even turn his head. And everybody are running around like, yo, Chris did this to your boy. I'm like, what the heck? Gary didn't want to pick on the kid, man. How many of y'all look at a bully picking on somebody, y'all say to yourself, man, that ain't right, man. That's not cool to see a bully pick on somebody, man, that don't want no smoke. If somebody tell you to your face that I smack you right now, and you don't look at him, how do you perceive that, fight fans? That man don't really want no smoke for real, right? He faking and fronting for these cameras. Now, do I like Gary's reaction? Nah, I don't. I'm going to keep it 100. I don't like it because at the end of the day, he ain't had to push. I don't know if maybe he just didn't like the fact that Colbert was putting him out there like that, knowing that he injured and you talking all this talk when that man injured. It's like, yeah, you calling me out and saying all of this other jazz and shit like that when I'm injured. Now, Chris's credit, Chris was perhaps one of the only people at 30 that was actually saying Gary's name, and even in the past. To his credit, him and Tevin Farmer are the only ones at 130 that I've ever heard say that they wanted some smoke from Gary if they were victorious in their fights. The problem was that they lost. They both lost. But that's Gary. Like, literally, the man's beard is almost about to touch the man on the side of the freaking face, and Chris Colbert doesn't even turn his head until Gary steps off. Then Gary steps off halfway down the hall. Then Chris Colbert turns his head and say, yeah, you just talking. Yeah, I bet you see you ain't doing nothing. You say that when Gary walk away. Y'all seen that video. I ain't tripping. So anyway, this is what Chris Colbert had to say about Gary Russell Jr. Of course, when he leave, I be talking again. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those type things. And hold on. He says that about Gary Russell Jr., and I quote, "I will send him into retirement. He just be talking. He don't really want to fight, though. He just be talking. The contract can be sent and signed, and we both with Al Heyman. What is the controversy?" And this is one of the things that got a lot of boxing fans saying, like, bro, like, where you going, bro? Like, you all over the fucking map. You know what I'm saying? You about to go to 35 and one fight Frank Warren, and then you yelling out at a 26-pounder in Gary Russell. So which way are you going, bro? Like, what's up with this shit? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But if you thinking about Frank Martin next in your next fight, focus on that, bro. Like somebody just said in the comment section, bro. Hey, not Zay says, yo, he gotta stay focused. Big facts. Focus on what's in front of you, man. Don't try to clout chase with Gary because he threatened to smack you. Now, as for why the contract ain't been sent, that ain't on Gary, that's on Al, and you know this. That's on PBC. Why aren't they sending contracts? Not to mention Gary is injured. Gary ain't coming back this year. Gary ain't going to be back until next year. So you need to be worrying about Frank if you fighting Frank next. Gary ain't available at this point. He had surgery. He just got done with surgery. What makes you think he going to just jump right into a fight with your big ass fresh off surgery? That don't make no sense. That don't make you ain't got a belt, nothing. That don't make, you almost got close to a belt, but you ain't got a belt. That don't make any sort of sense. And you want to face Frank Martin and then I guess Gary afterwards, I guess. I mean, you just big shit now, huh? Big shit. But hey, man, I hope a contract gets signed. I hope that Chris Colbert is successful if he can get through Frank Martin. And then if he says he's going to come back down to 30, which he says he will do, that was the last quote that I was going to put up. Hold on, fight fans. Let me put this one up right quick. And that's this. According to Chris Colbert, and I quote, "I'm one of the biggest 130-pounders out here. Me going up to 135 is going to give me more power and more confidence in the ring." End quote. That's what's up. That's usually the case. And I do think that 135 will be good for Chris. It could be argued that, and we talk about this once again, fight fans, for the billionth time. We speak on this a lot on the channel because I want to keep this fresh into the boxing fans' minds. And that is, when you are not operating at the weight class you should be at, things will start to take a hit. Your power will get zapped. Your punch resistance will get zapped. something will start to take a hit. You can't dig as deep no more. Your body is not reacting the same no more because you're not allowing it to grow. And fighters get to the point of being so desperate, which I think something that should be outlawed and banned in boxing. A fighter should not be allowed to drain fluid around from their brain. That should be banned. That should be a banned practice in boxing. Let's put that out there, fight fans. That should be a banned practice in boxing. Fighters that are draining themselves to weight classes to be the bigger fighter and just doing, and then staying there too long. And they're not the same. They can't stop nobody no more. They're getting hit with punches that normally wouldn't hurt them no more, but they're getting hurt. And I had to go there because I always go there. Great example is Earl Spence Jr. I believe that once Earl Spence Jr. does go up to 154, he's going to be a much better fighter. Stoppages may come back again. All of that because why? I believe he's crunching himself down to 47, and parts of his performance is taking a hit, but he's doing what he got to do through volume to continuously get the win and to keep these opponents occupied, because a lot of the opponents that he's faced at 47 just cannot deal with volume. The only one that could was Sean Porter. The only one that could was Sean Porter. And Earl's performance over time, his power, I believe, I think he was a much stronger fighter, say, when he was facing the Chris Algieri's and the Bundus. I thought he was a much stronger fighter. Much more primed, much more chiseled. Even in, say, the Kell Brook fight, it could be argued. I think over time his body has grown, but he's crunching. And so in Chris Colbert's case, he's saying that me going up to 135 is going to give me more power and more confidence in the ring. That may be the one missing ingredient that he needs. And maybe his punch resistance as well as stamina, because stamina takes a hit too. We seen Chris Colbert in that last fight looking super tired. And we were like, what? And a few rounds, I mean, he was tired. And I was like, what's up with his stamina? He's always been a mover and a groover. Like he uses his legs a lot in his fights. That ain't never really kind of been Chris. And Chris was tired, crunching. You see what Gary Russell Jr. told him to his face. He said, bro, look how big you are. Look how big Chris is right here in this picture. This is supposedly Chris between fights, but no, he a big boy. He don't look like no 30 pounder. He's a big boy. And so maybe 135 will work out for young Chris. Maybe that's the answer. Why would you consider coming back to 30 to have to, because he says that he'll go up and come back down. Why would you consider that? I have no idea. But if 35 is your home, that's your home. Make it your home. For the millionth time, fight fans, I am sick and tired of this pussyfooting around boxing. There's way too much pussyfooting going on. Way too much. I got these fighters can't move up in weight without having to take catch weights. I got these fighters can't move up in weight without having to call out fighters from the previous weight class. These fighters can't do that shit and confidently move up. Yet everyone look at Terrence Crawford and say, well, 3 divisions mean nothing. And da-da-da-da-da-da. Yo, these dudes are pussyfooting. Nobody ain't moving up the right way. Everybody want to edge or everybody want to fight a guy. Oh, let me be the first one to the class so I can beat everyone there and call them out. Like, I mean, all of this pussyfooting. Yet Terrence Crawford first fight at 147 in there with the man that beat the man. In there with the man that beat the man. Absolutely no pussyfooting. And then called out the man who was supposed to be the man in Keith Thurman. No pussyfooting. He ain't want no daylight. If it was up to Terrence Crawford, there wouldn't have been no Kalvalowskis. He didn't want the mandatory. If it was up to Terrence Crawford, it would have been all top name fights. And that's moving up in weight. Not like Danny pussyfooting ass who got to fight Lamont Peterson at 145 before he goes to 147. I'm sick of it. And this is why I rock with the real. And this is why I rock with Bud. You don't see cats moving like him no more. Y'all so used to this phony BS that when you see a real one, you don't know how to accept the shit no more. Oh, well, why would he do that? Huh? Why would he go after Keith? Huh? Why did it first fight? He could have got this, he could have did that. Man, come on. Terrence Crawford is a real one. And you know what? Before I get out, I gotta say this. Terrence Crawford, if this fight goes through with Earl, fight fans, and we get to that point that this fight happens and that man is victorious, I believe, and one of the beautifulest things about the fight game, the natural order of things get put back into the balance. What are you talking about, main man? Salute to Terrence Crawford. That boy like Superman out this bitch. Hey, look here, man. I'm sick and tired of all of you fans running around here with the wrong impression. I repeat, the wrong impression, and the impression of, well, the spectacles are everyone. That, boxing is boring because, we're not talking about 3 fighters, or boxing is boring because, everyone got to do what Tank Davis is doing. We put things back into the natural order of things. Maybe this popularity contest shit ends. And then when you see Terrence Crawford standing on a pile of baddies, 2-time undisputed at the top of the class, you'll say, well, I know damn well it wasn't his drawing power that got him there. It was him fighting his ass off and winning every prize in boxing that got him there. So if he can do it, why can't the next one do it? Everybody say that Floyd Mayweather left a bad precedent in boxing, right? Everyone blames Floyd. Well, that precedent can be mopped the fuck up when Terrence Crawford becomes the top dog. Because he didn't do it with that popularity shit. He comes from Omaha. He didn't fill up 50,000 in arenas, right? He took the weight of undisputed and winning every trophy in boxing and checking every box along the way. He took that route and still made it to the mountaintop where that red air sits, where there's no one else around him. And then the young up-and-coming fighters will hopefully look up at Bud Crawford and say, you know what? That guy just proved everybody wrong. He just proved to me that if I continue to fight, continue to win, continue to beat everybody in front of me, to continue to do the right things in the sport of boxing and go after the best, I can one day achieve that shit. And not all the way got to be money made. I don't always got to be the heel, the asshole that come out here and talk shit on social media to kick up a fight. I don't always got to be that guy. Maybe the fans will rally around me if I just continue to fight the fights that matter. The natural order of things get put back into boxing, and now people are saying that, damn, they said he did bad business. They called him a slave. They said that he didn't fight nobody. They said he didn't do anything. Yet he's at the tippy top of boxing. And all he can do is look down. Because if he look up, all he gonna see is a freaking ceiling. That shit crazy, fight fans. That's crazy. And that's one of the greatest things about this. Not only the 2-time undisputed thing. Now that's hot. Yeah, that's great. That's good stuff. That's historic. That's something that we have never seen in our lifetimes, fight fans, which could salute to Terrence Crawford for providing that type of moment. But most importantly, fam, boxing will be put back into the natural order of things where the guy that was counted out, just like Andre Ward did. It could be argued it started under Ward. It can be argued it started under Ward. Because when Ward took the number 1 pound for pound spot, Ward was the SOG, right? He was the son of God. He was the SOG. Did everything the right way, clean-cut individual. Didn't trash talk, didn't disrespect. People said he couldn't draw. He couldn't make no money, even though he was number 1 pound for pound. Couldn't fill up a hot dog stand out inside of Oakland, right? Everyone said all of this crap about him. Sergey Kovalev had all of these belts. Sergey Kovalev was the boogeyman. Sergey Kovalev was running in the division. Until Andre Ward moved up in there, wrecked Kovalev, got Kovalev's ass up out the way, stood there with all of that shit, number 1 pound for pound, and set boxing back on its right path just for a Terrence Crawford to emerge. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I like where things are going. I love what Terrence Crawford is providing to boxing. He is the shining light in boxing. He is the shining light, and that light doesn't go out. That is the light of you can be accolades driven. You can want to go after the best. Don't worry about people that's dragging you through the mud. Don't let no one tell you about who you are and what you are worth. You stand your ground and you fight for what you believe in. All of these messages come out of the career of Terrence Crawford. You don't care about what they say. They gonna always have something to say. You keep walking down your road and you keep your eyes on the prize. Terrence Crawford didn't let a promoter discourage him. He didn't let a network discourage him. He ain't letting PBC discourage him with all of their crap. He ain't letting no one discourage him. And when we are not looking, fight fans, hear me when I tell y'all this. I'm telling y'all some real shit. When we are not looking, the fighters are talking to Terrence Crawford and bigging him up behind the scenes. That I do know. The fighters are speaking to Crawford like, bro, fuck that shit, bro. What you did with Bob, man, I got to shake your hand, bro. Fuck that. What you did becoming undisputed, I got to shake your hand, bro. For what you did, how you beat Jeff Horn in the fashion that you did it, I don't even know if I would have did it like that. I got to shake your hand, man. Shit, them boys want you in the Hall of Fame already? Man, I got to shake your hand, man. You done got paid how much money? Bro, I got to shake your hand. Fighters respect that shit. They respect it. You know who is eating their words more than anybody? There's two fighters who went along through fight. See, the thing with Earl always had a plan. So he's always said, hey, I got to collect. But even though I don't agree with that plan, even though I find that plan to be a ducking plan, the fact is he said, hey, I got a plan. I'm going to go over here and do this, right? But the people that are really eating their words over this shit is Keith and Danny. They treated Bud like he wasn't shit. Earl, to a certain degree, just trying to say, hey, my star's bigger than your star. Like, yeah, I want to fight you, and one day we're going to do our thing. But, you know, hey, my star's bigger than your star. That's just a little shit. But Danny and Keith utterly and thoroughly dismissed Terrence Crawford. WB no. Who said that? WB no. We're not even recognizing your belt. It's the WB no. I don't want to have anything to do with you. It's the WB no. Yeah, ESPN called me up. He ain't going nowhere. Earl ain't going nowhere. Those are the words of Terrence Crawford. He ain't going nowhere. Danny Garcia. And don't even entertain Terrence Crawford. Just totally dismissed. Call Al. I don't know nothing. I don't see anything. I'm going to go fight over here. At the very end of the day, you can say with Earl, he had to follow company orders, sure. But he never lost sight of Terrence Crawford. Keith and Danny took their eyes off Crawford like, screw you. You ain't this. You a little fighter. You from Omaha. I want the money. I can't make money with you. And now they are eating their words. Because Terrence Crawford is literally feeding 75% of boxing right now. Boxing is surviving and sputtering on the name Terrence Crawford. He is paying all of these people's bills. He pays the content creators' bills. He pays the other fighters are getting the biggest paydays of their life because of him. He is paying boxing's bills. Sean Porter can retire in good comfort now because of Terrence Crawford. He is paying the bills. Content creators can't go 2 days without talking about him because you got to get that money coming in now, don't we? He is paying the bills. Paying the bills. Terrence Crawford got boxing on his back right now, fight fans. On his back. He walk away from this fight, boxing is depressed. Half of the boxing fans take a break. I'll come back to boxing in 2 months, 3 months, whenever boxing heats back up again. I don't want to see any of this shit that's going on today. Forget Canelo and Triple Grandpa. Boxing fans will be depressed. Y'all show this man some respect. Because he's paying your bills. You show this man some respect because he's giving your favorite fighters their biggest paydays. Earl will get his biggest payday all day. Sean got his biggest payday all day. Danny was offered his biggest payday at that point all day. When they see Crawford walking through the halls, they smile because as long as Crawford is around, well, I get a better deal. Y'all better stop faking out this junk and act like that ain't the case. Stop faking and acting like that ain't the case. That Bud ain't taking care of half of boxing. He got boxing on the damn SNAP program and shit. He got boxing on the SNAP program. What y'all talking about? Put some respect on the breadwinner that's taking care of boxing. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it, fight fans. So, look, get a man in space. Back up off him. Let him conduct his business. You're going to eat. Everyone's going to eat. Everybody eats. Everybody eats. Okay? We're all going to eat. We're all going to eat. Thanks to Bud Crawford. And Earl Spence Jr. too. I am not one to be putting Earl out in the cold. Both of these, this is both of their moments. Both of their moments. And they are feeding everyone. Everybody. Including your boy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to act like it ain't the case. Everybody eating. Thanks to Terrence Crawford. We know damn well we wouldn't be eating if Canelo was in the front like now, would we? Only people that would be eating is Canelo's people. But when Bud and Spence get together, everybody eats. Enjoy your meals. You got Bud Crawford to thank for that shit. Enjoy your meals. God damn. You know what I'm saying? Can't go a day without talking about the brother. So that's what it is, fight fans. I'm going to get on up out of here, man. It's been a cool show, man. Cool show, and I want to say major love to everybody that came out and rocked out with me today, man. This was supposed to be yesterday's episode, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Much love to each and every one of y'all, man. I see my fam up in here, man. I got Napoleon Armstrong riding with me. Good to go. What's up, champ? What's up with you? Chilling, man. They just don't get it, man. Or they don't want to get it. That's big facts. Big facts. They don't want to get it, if you ask me. Seen and unseen. I see you, bruh. What's up, man? Salute my brother, Mainman Mademan, and salute to the chat. Salute to you, Seen and Unseen Boxing, and thank you for rocking out with the homie. Black Ham TV. I see you up in our house, man. What's up with you? Silver Salamo. What's up, man? How you doing, man? How you doing? Hope you enjoyed the show, my G. Supreme Beast Boxing Talk is in our house. Cadillac. What's up, Cadillac? Yo, man, everybody that hear the sound of my voice, that's DMV fam right there. You check out Supreme Beast Boxing Talk. One of the best channels on YouTube, boxing, man. Bringing you boxing talk in a very, very entertaining way. You will laugh. You will cry. You will go through a great roller coaster ride fucking with the homie Cadillac, man. Salute to you, bro. I'm always thoroughly entertained when I'm tuning in. You can believe, you know what I'm saying? And much love to the homie Supreme Beast Boxing, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir, man. I'm going to get up out of here, fight fans. It's been a cool show. You know what I mean? I'm going to pull the phone calls for this edition because it's so early in the day. And I know most of y'all are at work, putting that good work in, ready to chill on out for y'all weekend. You know what I'm saying? So what I will do this weekend, either tonight or maybe sometime tomorrow before all of the fights, we'll get a panel going. We'll get something live crack-a-lacking. And I'll be inviting as many of y'all that want to come on as, you know, y'all want to. Come on and chop it up with the homie. Tell me why your guy's better than my guy. I don't mind. If Mainman is going wrong on anything that y'all hearing me say, hey, come on and correct the record. I don't mind. You know what I mean? And it's all in good fun, man. I want everyone to have fun with this fight, man. You know, for everyone that's been putting that work in and building this fight up, you deserve to have all of the fun that you should have. You know what I'm saying? And do what you can with this fight because everyone deserves it. You know what I'm saying? And I truly mean it, especially if you've been covering it video after video. Every little detail, every little bit of movement, you deserve it. So have your fun with this fight. Do not overly be analytical. And most importantly, fight fans, don't be take all of your information with a grain of salt. You dig? Wait till you hear from these fighters. If you don't hear from and I'm not talking about fighters camps. Salute to the camps of the fighters too. No disrespect. But from what I've learned about this, that the people closest to this are under NDAs. And details, like certain details, just are not going to make it out. Because no one wants to be the guy that they get traced back to. The inner circle of this, walking around behind NDAs, fight fans. So everyone is taking a crack at it to be first. Everyone wants to appear to be the inside guy. They want to be the inside source. I don't give a fuck about that role. I just want to get the green light. And that's all I think that we all want. You know, we just want the green light, get a clear and definitive answer. Hell, they can just come out and announce the fight. I don't even want to know the purses. I don't give a damn about none of that stuff, man. I don't care about what they guaranteed. I don't care what it's the pay-per-view revenue, what's the split, what's the site fee, what's the endorsement. I don't care about any of that. Why? Any fight that Mainman talks about on this channel, you'd never hear me running that bit of information down about really no other fight. Why do I really give a damn about it with this fight, right? I just would like to make sure that they're not cheating my boy Terrence Crawford. But I will say this. I also believe in the character of Terrence Crawford. He's been nothing but a stand-up dude this whole entire time. And if he wavered, if I thought he was BSing, y'all know me, man, I'd be like, man, Crawford loafing on this shit, bro. Nah, Crawford has been stand-up the whole time, and I respect his positions. I respect his stance. I respect the fact that he still disregards all of the noise and continues to march forward. And he has a goal in sight, and that goal is to be a 2-time undisputed champion, which is more than a high bar, You feel me? And I respect it all around the board. And I respect Earl Spence Jr. too. You feel me? I hate the fact that they postponed this so long, but I understand that he has a company that he has to work for, and that company has a route just like everybody else. We'll get there soon, fight fans. I'm out of here. Y'all have a blessed day. Hopefully we return back later on today. Be on the lookout for that new episode of The Red Corner, fam. Much love to each and every one of y'all, man. And until the next video, fam. Thumbs up for the homie. Share. Rock those bells. To the next video, fam. Plays out. Yes, sir.